right now. Do an improv baby right now, now, now. Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv baby right now, 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 now.
Hi, Bowler.
Hi, LG.
I'm so
Pepper's
happy to see you and hear your voice. There was some pre-show panic about Orange cat whistling.
Great job.
Oh, my baby's back. This is guess what came from the
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
If
she's
you're
saying
just
great job.
joining us,
She's saying great job with the turnaround, which is the Who's Around theme song.
that's right. The baby loves the theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you for joining us today. We have
This hat.
we have that hat. We're playing with all the available pigs that we have, including this one. This is the only show that I'll put this on. This is J.K. Rowling's Christmas Pig.
How about this pig?
Yeah,
Which we like it when it's disconnected from the rest of her. We like it when it's
Happy birthday. This is my.
yeah.
This is my pig.
It's a more
More
pigs.
pigs.
Yeah, this is a theme to this show, baby. You're gonna have a lot of pigs.
we have a whole. It's almost like our home theater is. I've got trans bacon now up there. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we've got some new games today to play, based around the topic of the news. Ever heard of it?
I have. Yeah. I have heard
And
of the
then
news.
also, I'll play. I don't think it's too. I can play the bumper pre-guest.
No, it's
Right?
it's not too early.
Give people a little taste of the game.
Who's this happy?
I didn't know you liked that movie.
This is to make you happy. This is for self-care. Although self-care doesn't always have to make you happy. It just has to be something that I'm struggling with not happy. Let's bring out a guest to help us talk about it. How do you think about that?
Love it. Let's do
Should
it.
we do it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Roy.
Hello, Roy. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi. Hello.
Roy
Thanks
is
for having me.
one of my favorite puppeteers
always
of all time, and that is no small feat given the amount of weapons I consume, which is different. And please don't at me.
Here's my happy egg.
So,
What
oh yeah, she's gonna monologue the whole show. If we stop for everything, we'll never get through. Trust me. I live with her.
That's fine.
You can't listen to everything kids say. You just have to ignore some of it. You know. They just monologue, and sometimes you just gotta keep it moving. You gotta otherwise.
One of my self-care strategies is to get on stage and monologue and do improv with other people. So that's a thing, right? And that is actually how all of us met, was doing improv. So look at that. I did a thing.
Yeah.
My synapses aren't firing today, but they just did a thing.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You've been doing the bulk of the talking since the show started. I don't know what you're so great of. You're nailing it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Roy, we have you on
My
today.
synapses are similar, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. We accept all types of synapses at this show. Thank you, Pepper. So, Roy, we have you on because we want to talk to you about some art as self-care. And art is something you do as a part of your sort of self-care and things to do to sort of escape and to like relax. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. When I heard of a topic, this art that I needed to think of a topic, that this is one of my I guess passions or my things. When I was a child, I had a mother who was mentally ill and also very ill with breast cancer. and that was very challenging. One of the things she did to take care of herself was always painting, always making art, always doing things. And I would say, very challenging in many ways for me. And but that was a definite an example of how I saw this person who was not necessarily great at self-care, but that was the thing, that was the little magic bullet, that got her in a happy place. And so for me, I actually did a stand-up thing about this not too long ago, about making up little songs about everything and going through life. And like, gonna die, a lot more sweary things too, but we'll skip that today. But
Why really?
Those sort of things. And I've always painted, and I had a room that I would save everything, and my father would say, "Roy, why are you keeping this? Why don't you throw that out?" And hoarding, of course, but also I'm going to make something out of it. That was always my thing. So that it helps me, and plus process. And I figure, and then I'm sorry, I'm rambling.
No, please.
So later in getting into improv has been also a way of self-care.
I wanted to ask you then, have you ever done musical?
No.
Have you ever done musical improv, Roy? I think I've heard you sing in improv, but have you done musical improv?
Yeah, I did musical improv a couple years ago with Keith over at Wage House, and I loved it. And I found it actually, for me, it was one of the easier improvs for me. For some reason, my brain worked well with that format because I kind of do that anyway. And it was, rather than like overthink my next move, I would just sing something and it would be good, most of the time.
It looks impressive. No matter what you do, it looks impressive. And then when it is impressive, it's extra impressive. I can charge $50 for that little piece of coaching.
Oh, there you go. See, absolutely. See, you can make money through art.
So, well, that is a thing that you do as well, is make money through your art. So, I think I said earlier, I was not joking. Roy, you are a puppeteer. So somebody who we both are not puppeteers, but have made money through turned improv into careers for ourselves. So how do you separate the stuff that you do for income versus the art that you do for you? Because sometimes you get jambly.
I go, and slowly the stuff, like, for instance, improv has started. I've been a TA a couple of times and stuff, so now that's starting to a little bit. But and then for instance, puppets. Everybody, like, when people knew about my puppetry, everybody's asking, "Oh, why don't you do that with improv?" And I have kept away from that because I kind of want to, let myself do the speaking rather than little critters or whatever. So.
Don't give them all the limelight. If improv is something that is for you, that feels special to keep separate, that's great. But also, don't give them any more lines.
Well, it's funny actually. And right now, I'm trying to find. I'm having a little difficulty getting puppet shows because I have to get a little better at all the online stuff. I'm not. People don't respond to flyers anymore. They're like, "What's he wasting paper for?" And throw it away. So
Providence is very. I have always thought that to be the case too, but for some reason, Providence, they love a flyer. They love a flyer. So don't give up hope on the paper flyers. We're a very
okay. Yeah, we've got to.
It's not just me taking all of them.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen a flyer work or a poster work, so I'm on Roy's assessment of that. I've yet to see that ever
for a while.
Yeah, it's like it's more about, at that point, it's more about name recognition. The reason you put posters and flyers up is that people recognize the branding and the name. They're like, oh yeah, I've seen that before, but it doesn't actually get anybody
Yeah,
through the door.
Plus it
In my
mailing, you know.
Oops, sorry. I think your sound just cut out for a second. There you are.
Mine did.
Nailing
But
or mailing?
I just love. I do mailings, and for years they worked, but now lately they're not working to the extent. And I'm not. I need, I'm lazy too. I don't tend to update things, so But when I do shows, they go off. They come off well. But one of the things I was thinking about with the creative process, I just love the idea of you work on something and you work on something, and you get better or it evolves. That sort of thing. And I think I was reading about creativity today because I wanted to feel a little bit prepared. Something about lowering the stress hormone, right? That's what that is.
Yeah.
I know this.
Cortisol.
Can you hear me?
Stress hormone? Yeah.
And how it lowers if you, after 40. I read an article today. Must be. And
yeah, you tagged me in the
45 minutes of doing art can lower that and lower your stress. And I think it lets.
I saw one that mentioned improv in that.
Think about that.
I saw one that mentioned improv specifically. I wonder if it was that one, because it made me think, oh, I hope so many people rush out and take classes and want to play with us.
Yeah, I saw that one, the improv one, and the one you shared on Psychology Today.
What's the one? Can you say more on that one? Because I am in Facebook jail still.
The article Roy shared on Facebook today from Psychology Today was all about what he was just talking about with the stress hormone being lowered after 45 minutes of doing any kind of art. So they've studied it, and it's like definitely a documented therapeutic approach to lowering cortisol levels. And then in addition to that, I know that it is used in certain therapeutic measures too, of like processing trauma and things like that. But I think even just the
art,
like we're focused on just the art of making something in the process is worth the time, even if you ignore the end result.
Yes, in a hospital program that I was in a couple of years ago, they taught this has made coloring so much different for me now, because they talked about product versus process, which is like the same thing for serial killers, which is weird that we categorize serial killers with product versus process, and yet also art. Are you making it for the end goal of having a thing or to experience, or are you in it for the measuring your breathing and choosing or just the self-soothing of whatever medium you're doing? So now when I color like dogs taking big old dumperoonies, that's process. That's art therapy process. Not product. The end product isn't, the goal is not shitting dogs. The goal is how you feel during the process, which is good.
Right. That's an interesting I don't think we can let the serial killer part go by though.
What's that?
I don't think we can let the serial killer aspect of that metaphor go by though.
Do you want me to explain?
Well, there's planning in both, I mean.
Yeah,
you have to buy materials.
It's motivation.
Yeah, no. I know. It's gonna be one of those days completely silent as we're doing sound checks and getting everything together before the show, and then during the show she's like, well, here's my solo, everybody. That's right. Yeah. That's jazz.
She's working on her process.
Yeah, she is absolutely working on her process. We're going to try to do a little distraction on her iPad here. So Yeah, no. The serial killer, I don't need it explained more. I just think that it's interesting that was the process versus product. Like, you know what a great metaphor is serial killers because they get categorized in those two different ways. But I do think for me, it depends on the kind of art, because some art I am very much focused on the end result. And some forms of art I am not. And I think some of that comes down to how that art is going to be digested by others. So I think if my art is going to be digested, ingested, if you would, by others, then I'm much more concerned with the end result.
Totally.
If it's not, if it is just for me, then it feels much more about process and going through and feeling it and breathing and all that jazz. But yeah, I think if my art's going to be consumed, then the end result is very important to me, which I don't think all artists share that viewpoint. I think some folks still focus on like, well, if I'm satisfied with it, then it's good. And that's what I want to produce. I have never been like that. I've always been, if someone's going to ingest it, I've always been like, okay, what are they going to get out in their experience? What is their experience? Not that you can always predict that, but it's a sort of a process in like, how is this seen by others?
How you think more about how you want them to experience it.
Yes.
And that goes into creating it from the beginning. I can understand that as like making more videos now. Like, how is this going to be viewed? Putting even like starting to make them with earbuds in so that I can hear how people with earbuds listening on the train might hear an annoying video sound.
Yeah. I mean, I think, just, it does, because you don't, or at least I'm sort of conscious of what someone's going to, because like if my end result is someone laughing at my product, I want it to be not just funny to me, but funny to more universally funny, because stuff that makes me laugh isn't going to necessarily make everybody laugh. Like there's some things that I would make a joke of, like to myself at home, to maybe Bagley, but that I wouldn't necessarily put into a thing that is going to be consumed by a large number of the public, or could be consumed by a large number of the public.
Self jokes are amazing. They're the best and the worst. I wouldn't want anyone to hear the things that I say out loud to myself, but I make myself laugh.
Yeah, no, but this is interesting.
Because, I have zero understanding of how my stuff will be seen, so I just sort of ignore that thought while making. And that is a way. That's a fucking cool way to.
Well,
it makes a lot of really cool music, FYI. So that's a different kind of art than I know how to make.
Yeah, no, and I've heard other artists talk about that it's not that they focus on, just the making and stuff, and that's what it is. I haven't found that to be the case for me, especially when it comes to comedy.
Ooh, yeah.
That's I don't know if that's like sexist, but that's interesting. If anyone else has any sort of thoughts on this, but Roy, how about yourself? Like, do you find that varies with processed product?
Oh, definitely. If somebody's going to see yourself, I've been often told I watch myself too much because just a little careful, but I do like sometimes when I can just let it go and do what but if I think somebody's going to see it, I will definitely do things one way than if I'm just doing it for my fun or whatever. But and I'm learning to let that stuff go now. I'm actually finding that having done a good amount of improv, for instance, I never was interested in doing film of any sort because I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to watch myself. But thanks to you, Bowler, both of you actually, I've been doing videos here and there, and hey, not so bad, and I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy the process of making them. So that's a new thing that I'm open. I'm on the very beginning of starting to look into acting things because I'm seeing that they're out there in Boston and stuff. So so this how one thing moves to another thing, and you do that scary thing you were talking about at another time. You do the one little scary thing, and then you do something else, and that makes it's okay. I don't I don't look like a total idiot if I'm on camera, so or I'm actually I'm a kind of a quirky person, and that's interesting. It's not shameful. That's what you have to learn. As you get learn that, and I'm working on that. So anyway, yeah, it's all like trying to figure out what you feel that, hey, I'm okay. The stuff that I produce is okay. People, if they don't, that's okay. But
that's a big thing
and
too. If
also
you're
being
making it,
blocked,
just making it, letting go of how other people will receive it versus like making something for someone specific and getting, wanting good feedback and then getting feedback that is maybe not what you wanted and still being like, well, this is mine.
Right.
I made it. I made it for me.
And then and where does the feedback come from? In the past, I've had people, who had not so great motives say things to me about, that I wasn't very talented. People are jerks, and their opinion. But when one person says, somebody told me once, yeah, you're 30. I went someplace. I was in New York City, and I was doing this singing thing. It was at Circle in the Square, and it was a summer workshop. And this famous woman, who worked at Juilliard, said, "You have a good voice. You really need a lot of work on it, but you have a good voice." So I came home and I told a friend I was excited, and she says, "You're 32 years old." She was trying to get you to buy lessons. This woman from Juilliard does not need me to buy lessons from her, So anyway,
Right.
This is an older person who wanted to do things too, and but anyway, so
that was them.
That
sounds like that was them saying what they have felt about themselves to you.
Oh, you're 32
And also,
years
I love
old.
how
Now I'm
casually
60 and I
Roy,
want to do it. So.
you absolutely can. I just want to point out how casually Roy always drops like, it wasn't a big deal and I'm not very experienced, but I did do Circle in the Square. You've done some really fucking cool things and will continue to do them. And I think it's so I've heard you say a couple of things like that and how cool.
Well, and every age bracket that you get into. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Roy. Yeah. I was gonna say
I'm agreeing with you.
Every age bracket you get into, it's like just suddenly a whole new different set of roles and opportunities open up. And so if you look at it as like, okay, well now, there's like certain age caps to playing Hamlet, right? Like certain people, like it's like they look for a certain demographic to play Hamlet, for example. Well, like just because you can't play that role anymore, you're playing different roles. And I think that is, looking at it like that, because it's weird in theater. It is, especially with live theater, film, you're kind of stuck in the body and the look that you have a bit. Like, of course, there's like prosthetics and special effects, but the kind of roles that, we're getting on our local amateur level that we're all kind of at like semi-professional level. You're kind of stuck in who you are. And I remember that in college feeling like, okay, sort of pigeonhole into certain kinds of roles because you're like, that's what I look like and that's who it is, which is frustrating for sure. Which is why improv is such a awesome release, because you're suddenly anything, could be anything. But also, sort of a positive reframe on that is that every new sort of like chapter in your life, you're suddenly like, okay, now I'm in a different bracket of situations, and that's different opportunities. And so, 32 is obviously not too late. Neither is 60. Like none of these are too late. Like it's always new roles. And actually, a friend of mine on Facebook is in his 70s and just started doing community theater, and is like doing well and getting cast. And, because now he's suddenly like playing all of those like clutch older male like roles that a lot of plays have, like, and he's just scooping them all up and, having a great time and getting a bunch of, reps in. And that's awesome. And I don't think he was ever in a play before this age. And why not? Like, this is, it's not, I think there's room for a lot of people in different roles, especially if the theaters in your town are willing to take on plays like that and challenges like that, where they do need to cast, different ages and more diverse ages, which isn't always the case for sure. Some theaters have a bit like, well, we're just going to do Hamlet again or whatever. Like if some theaters get stuck on the same. I only mentioned that. I remember in grad school, I had to study Hamlet for an entire semester, and it's not that long of a play. You know what I mean? Like it's really not that intense or long of a play. It didn't feel justified, but
you do have a pair. There are leggings with the entire play Hamlet written out on them, right? Is that?
I used to have that. I did used to have those. That was a gift from a dear friend of mine who we actually did a 2-person production of Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Yes, yeah. So
that was
yeah, and it was just one of those things that we both realized we would never be cast in our shared dream role of being Hamlet because of our demographics, and so we did our own version and cast both of us as Hamlet because we did a 2-person version, so we both played all the parts. But yeah, it was really fun, and yeah, so then I had the whole cast of Hamlet. So yeah, I've done a lot of work on Hamlet. That's why I keep bringing it up, anyways. But I want to get to our first guessing game and talk some more while we're getting our suggestions because I know those always take a little bit of time. Yes. So audience, what we need from you is actually some fun suggestions. We're going to send Roy into a site-proof booth. So if Roy, you go over to another tab, but we'll keep you your mic on and we can hear you. But, yeah, you're going to go to the site-proof booth. And audience, what we need from you is suggestions of both.
It's been a long time since we brought the site-proof booth. It makes me happy.
A famous art piece and a self-care strategy. So we need both those things, and we're going to have Roy try to guess what debacle happened in the museum, what self-care strategy has gone wrong to this point. It's going to be great. So audience, any suggestions for both a famous piece of art and a self-care routine? And while we're waiting for those suggestions to pour in, we can talk a little bit more about this art as an escape. So that's what this game is inspired by. Escaping art. Art as an escape immediately made me think of escaping art, and I was like, Night at the Museum. And I don't know what the game is going to be, but it is going to be something
just got
art escaping. And Roy, I want to ask you, have you ever been commissioned to create something artist-wise? Have you ever been commissioned or had to create a sort of customized piece? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, one time I was working with somebody and we were doing a musical puppet show thing, and she suggested that she had seen something where somebody had Velcro, or there was a puppet that sneezed and all the Velcro figures fell off. Mm-hmm. So I had to make that. I hadn't seen it.
Who would commission you to make this again?
So I had to make it and make my own version. And what happened was that partnership dissolved, but that puppet is still like a mainstay in my and she let me have it, but she paid for the materials, but I didn't really think it wasn't really my idea. Most of the things that I made have been my idea, but that was a good one.
Yeah.
Sometimes an artist must work within the parameters of the benefactor. What did you call me before the show started? You're an angel.
Oh, our angel producer. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Angel producer.
And another.
We weren't sure if LG was going to have sound connected today. I was like, you're just now the angel producer. You're the silent partner in this whole thing. No one's going to know. Okay, that's interesting to me. And it's good. I'm glad that you get to keep the thing, but it's also very frustrating to work with a client decree in which the client is trying to describe something that they've seen and that you haven't seen.
Oh, yeah.
That has happened to me before, and that is a very hard. It's really, really hard because they never describe it right, in my experience.
Somebody else's vision.
Telephone game of conceptual a slow conceptual breakdown.
Yeah. I mean, I also want to say too, I feel like we found our art piece. We have our famous art piece.
Oh, that's right. He's in he can't see, right? Roy, you can't see?
No, I can't see, no.
I'm jumping on the on the thing because I don't want to.
And I'm going to say yes. This is to answer our audience questions. Yes, it is. So that's our 2 suggestions there.
We got boom,
right?
perfect. And
We've
again,
got this and that.
post-COVID, I do have to write them down now.
Yeah, write them down.
Yeah.
So audience, if you could flood our chat with some emojis so that we can bring Roy out of the site proof booth, and Roy, we will let you know.
Okay.
When it is clear to come back. We can get all this there.
Here we go. Ha!
This is great. It always comes up where like I can never see any of these emojis.
We just like custom emojis. Oh my gosh, you guys, I found one on Twitch that's called Panic Basket, and it's a picnic basket that's on fire, but it's called Panic Basket. Love it.
Wow.
Oh, I love it so much.
Very good. All right, Roy, you can come back from the site proof booth, and we will start to you. So audience, if you want to play along in the chat, feel free to type out clues. We will bring them up onto the screen so that Roy can see them. You can type in any clues that you want to add into the conversation. You are a part of this game. And we are just going to have Roy try to figure out what in the world what piece of self-care has
ruined a piece of art. There we go.
Roy, I respect you trying to keep your brain sharp. You know what I mean? I think it's great. It's great. But I just think we got to talk about what happened last night at the museum.
We got to talk about it.
Well, I'm doing my best, giving advice, doing things.
And we can see that.
Yeah, we love that. We love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
trying to help.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, is this like, and just be level with us, is this like a vengeance thing about Macaulay? Is it like related to that?
Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, is it like some kind of like vengeance situation? Is it like because if it is, we're just gonna spin this a different way. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna get lawyers involved, to be honest with you. But if it's not, well, no problem. But I'm just wondering, is it
putting, were you talking about when I put a smile on the screen, the Munch?
Now, okay. if you had only stopped there, yes.
Yes, we are talking about how you vandalize the screen. That is exactly right. That is right. And
you want to know how you got these scars? It's because of art.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think the smile probably wouldn't have even been noticed, honestly.
Wouldn't have noticed. It was what was covering the smile.
I think it was so clearly not in the original one. Like, I think with the scream, if it was just a smile, people would have been like, that could have been there. But I feel like the fact that you kept going was more.
Well, putting a COVID mask on that painting may not have gone over with it, but he had to be safe.
Yeah, no, and I think as a political statement, it's really clutch. But I'll tell you, from what I heard from the museum, when they're like the COVID mask, they were able to remove easily.
They just
that was easy. What they couldn't get out, I think it's probably because you did it in pen. And I mean, that's pretty brave too, because a lot of people recommend doing these in pencil because you don't know if you're going to make a mistake. And the fact that you did it in pen, it's like, it's brave and it's bold,
It's brave. I've literally never seen this.
Well, they're all unique, I think. I mean, the permutations.
Was it like having a little balloon that said "Help me"?
People saw that and thought it was a different art piece. So they were
like, "Oh, this is a Warhol." They were like, "This is the Andy Warhol version." Behind,
they don't talk about that ever again, and we'll be good.
I'll be honest with you. I think the angle we should go with this is, I think that we just say that you are, I think trying to engage in self-care. You're trying to stimulate your brain. You're trying to challenge yourself. And everybody knows puzzles are healthy. Everyone knows puzzles are really great. And I think that's what we go with that angle,
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows. And
so nobody appreciated how I made a puzzle out of the painting and was putting it together to help myself relax.
It's they didn't they certainly didn't, but I think it was more of what they would consider graffiti. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
You,
I don't
you
know if
put
maybe
it
they're
back
just
together well enough that it wasn't noticed. And I don't want to like congratulate you too much on that because I don't want to encourage that. But yeah,
no.
it was the graffiti. It was yeah.
They might also can I just be honest? I think they might have like a bit of a prejudice against the number 9. You know, I think that might be part of it because I think they were seeing like that, 9 by 9 and they're getting upset. They're like, like they see the number 9 constantly and they're just, I don't, that's my best guess.
And it's an angel number. You know how these artists are?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if they're suspicious about the grid, and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that they are seeing that 9 by 9 grid and they are seeing like,
you see this?
clearly,
You see this? This is 9 by 9 by 9 by 9 by 9. And
yes,
all of them are lighting fires in their eyes.
Yeah. Like having that, like, that kind of
making turning it into a light bright where you're putting the little.
I'll say, I think honestly, the light bright thing, I think actually inspired them. I think the light bright option inspired them to make that whole. I mean, you might have seen that Van Gogh piece at the Dunk. It was like lit and interactive. I think that's more inspiring, especially doing that.
Scream has never been more illuminating. I will tell you that.
I think, I think it's just one of those things like, you know what? It's like people don't even think of this as self-care because they're like, oh, that's in the newspaper or that's in the back of the airline magazine or like, they sell that in large print books. Yeah, like they sell that in large print books at Ocean State Job Lot. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's not art. That's just a brain puzzle.
Oh, making a Sudoku.
I think that was the really yes.
I mean, everything up until that point, we could have like just under the door, but this.
I do. I think you putting a pen on the screen is really the thing. Yeah, that's it, Roy. You got. I think you
sounds. Well, I needed to.
You got that scream
really
so fast. I love
how fast
the scream.
The Macaulay Culkin was a good clue too.
I was like,
the scream was on,
but you totally got it so fast.
The scream.
Panic Basket.
The scream was on Jeopardy last night. That was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So that's.
Oh, that's so
that
funny.
Was the deal. That was.
Yeah.
So I thought that was in my. It was in my brain.
Yeah.
For the Zodiac, it was process and product.
Right.
Want to play another game?
Yeah, let's do it.
Play another game. And if we're going to play another game, we got to show the people what the game is going to be.
Yay!
Great bumper.
We're going to play some nudes at noon. Pew, pew, pew. I need a soundboard. We're going to play some nudes at noon. And what that is we have some news. Now it's hard for me not to say nudes. We have some news in a very special protected folder on our phone. And I am going to hop out, right? Is that the plan? Let me hop out?
Yeah. So we've gathered these headlines, and LG is going to be headline jockey, I believe we call it.
Yeah! Oh, I'll have to change my headline. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you guys ready for your...
Roy and I will be newscasters. Well, these are all real news headlines.
These are all real news headlines, and you guys are just going to talk about them.
Yeah, we're ready. So this is the latest blow from the Boston Globe. Providence most endangered properties for 2023 is, in fact, Providence schools. The entire school district apparently is terrible. Which feels like a rude snub.
Well, not a surprise, and sewage is no longer spilling into the Warwick Pond. It's just spilling into everyone's houses, and that's even worse.
It's a decent upgrade, possibly. Rhode Island girl wrote to local police asking them to investigate Santa's existence. Their findings are convincing. That's right. There is a Santa Claus, as confirmed by the Cumberland Police Department, who have wasted countless resources to provide that investigation. They've investigated that more than most crimes in Cumberland, so that is really great to see that kind of focus and dedication.
That's right. They're figuring out that, brick house, thousands of houses still be beloved.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use the America's Got Talent foreman to pick a police chief.
This is probably the best idea to come from the editorial department in a long, long time. I want to sing police officers sing. I want to see them sing.
Why not?
How can you be chief if you can't sing? I would argue.
Yeah, there was a TV show called Cop Rock years ago that predicted this, and it just seems like a wonderful idea. Who doesn't want a melodic officer to tell you that you're under arrest?
I just heard about this very recently. Kraft says Pats will do everything in their power to bring Brady back to sign off in New England. The owner of Macaroni and Cheese is begging Tom Brady to come back. And I think one of the things that's been guaranteed is a mac and cheese bath for Brady every night, because that man loves to dip his entire body in hot and cheesy noodles.
Right.
I just heard
sometimes perhaps.
I heard cheesy noodles, and we have
that's the way it is.
A very special update. We have two. This is a still image from a video.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, hello.
So
what should I
don't
keep
know. I was
in my
wondering if you guys could comment on what you guys keep in your emergency car kit.
All the sounds stopped and then all came back with a vengeance right at the same time for me. I don't know if that happened for our listeners as well. Oh, the cute book of improv.
Yeah. These are I lost down for a second too. This is what Channel 12 recommends that you keep in your trunk for cold weather. All right, back to our regularly scheduled news.
In Massachusetts today, pig with sparkling personality is up for adoption. As you can see here, this pig is really sparkling. You know what I mean? If we were to say what kind of pig this is, it would be absolutely sparkling.
I would say sparkling myself. Oh, Bill would make R&B Rhode Island's official state music. Why not? That gentleman is definitely the R&B music.
Why not? Indeed, why work on the housing crisis when you could make a state music choice? It's just, if you're going to spend hours in meetings and legislation, you want to do something that's going to make a difference to the state music, official state music, because, wow, nothing else to do, really. Woman indicted?
Everything else is...
So I was gonna say, I don't know that second word, but women, I think it must be indicted. After allegedly creating fake Plenty of Fish profile that scammed RI widow of $80,000. That is, I'm glad that there is
a special place in heck for some people.
I'm totally going to get fired from my news job.
Meat. A new branch of Plant City to open at Bryant University, but there's a twist: bacon and sausage.
And sausage, yes, everything's made of meat. Plant City at the university.
Cheese.
And we've made the pig angry.
Okay. Sorry.
Retired teacher finds inspiration in the story of a three-legged
Retired
goat.
teacher,
And-
naked goat,
Unlikely.
and her unlikely friends.
Well, which I guess the unlikely part is the horse. And honestly, I actually kind of would expect a goat to be friends with a horse. That doesn't feel that unlikely to me. Like if you put a goat with a chimpanzee,
Yeah.
unlikely. A horse feels like, yeah, they're both at farms.
I think they've done that before. Like, get your goat is supposed to be after they took because goats were companions for something, and maybe horses. It might have been horses. And when they would get your goat, that would mess them up. So I think that's
Weren't they on
what that
pirate
means,
ships
but
often? Goats on pirate ships,
That's
or is
great.
that? I might be misremembering.
maybe.
That is interesting
Well,
because
you
no
could
other
milk
state
them.
has
You could
official
eat them, I
genres.
guess. I'll just,
Yeah.
I know.
That's Bill.
I know that guy looks more like it would be like country or easy listening or something.
I did actually read this article. That guy's in a rock band. He's in like a rock cover band. So he's like, so it's not even that I'm
Oh.
picking rock and roll for it to be rock and roll. He's like, I'm picking R&B because that would
Oh.
unite more people.
Wedding singer.
I just like the idea of having, as Void pointed out, I've just never heard of a even like is bluegrass or old time like an official of any southern. I've never heard of it. I've just never heard of it. I love it.
Yeah, an official
You think
genre of
like
music.
country would be for Tennessee or something.
Do you wanna see another real news thing? Real nude?
Sure. Yeah.
Look at that nude.
So Rhode Island startup diverts 1 ton of waste each month from landfills, and they're trying to get businesses to do the same, when most businesses in the state won't even bother to recycle. That's not even a joke. That's just a real true fact.
It's really sad.
It is. That's just a sad fact.
It's a sad.
No jokes here.
Yours.
Who's around? Bad fact.
Yeah, we're back, baby. We got one more. I got one more.
Just another sad fact. Oh, and who would that be? Former Rhode Island mayor launches presidential bid.
It was a former Cranston mayor. I saw this article.
Buddy Chancey's dead, right?
But it says that I don't think so. He's actually been moving from various states all around the nation, just trying to get elected to some position. So he's been just trying out.
We had Ashley Callis do that. We have people move to Rhode Island to get elected, and bottom shame all the people that that was a weird moment of I want to get elected in Rhode Island and then also call people bottoms. Remember this? Ashley Callis for governor? Am I making?
Yeah, no, you're not. You're not. And now she's contemplating moving out of Rhode Island when she didn't win. There was an update.
Of course.
We're surprised.
Carpetbaggers.
Yeah. Well, that
Romney did that when he went to Massachusetts too. You just
yeah. Well, that's all our games.
It's all our games.
I don't know about you all, but my toddler is losing her mind. So I think for maximum self-care, I need to sign off.
For maximum self-care, Roy, thank you so much for joining us. Void.
Oh, my pleasure.
Trevor.
I feel a little unfocused, so I need to care. Oh, and we have things to plug. We're doing shows.
Yes. Roy and I are in a show tonight at 8 p.m.
Oh, I wish I had put that up. Oh,
Yep,
that's so cool. What's your team?
We're in Nice Things Together tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Nice Things.
Fuck yeah.
Bowler is jumping in, and Jordan is jumping in, and Trevor, Billy, Mike, me, and then Trevor, me, and Dyer and Dan Costa are doing the helpers to start off the night. So.
Ooh, very cool. No longer just for holidays.
The holiday helpers. Oh,
yeah, holiday helpers. No
busy
just for holidays.
being very not very bad for the environment.
Can I just
These
say
are
before we
plugged
sign
in the
off,
trash.
one of my very first memories of like feeling like accepted at Pig was when Bowler at the back of she promised anyone who comes to the show will get a Valentine from artistic director of Pig, Bowler. And sure enough, she like hand wrote, and mine was like, I can't remember what it was, but it was something like, you got a good laugh, kid, or like, you really, like it was some sort of,
I don't remember doing this at all, but I believe you. That's awesome. Wow. I sound like a great person. What? That doesn't line up. Are you sure? That wasn't
encouraging
me.
person, a very funny person. So,
wow. That doesn't make sense. This is not lining up. Okay. That must not have been.
I'm gonna for self-care, you got to go think about what a good person you are and what a good friend you are and how helpful you've been, like personally and comedically, and go take care of that toddler. I'll see you in a couple weeks, Bowler.
Yeah.
Maybe
we'll do another show in a couple weeks. And Roy, awesome to have you. It was great. It was a good show. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
I
fun.
don't
I'll
know.
see you tonight.
Yeah, I'll see you tonight, Roy. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
We'll see if we can brave the cold.
Right now, baby, right now, do an improv, baby, right now, now. Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv, baby, right now, now.
Art is important.
I thought we would always cut.
Oh, no, I haven't ended the broadcast yet. I just had a really important, I just realized that we could have made a fart joke the whole time and we didn't, because see you next week, Bowler.
Bye.
Bye.